All right, everyone, welcome. Today we're diving into a really powerful idea from Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why. It's all about a hidden pattern, a kind of secret formula that the world's most inspiring leaders and organizations all seem to use.
So let's just jump right into the core question. Why is that? You've seen it. Some leaders, some companies, they inspire this incredible loyalty that goes way beyond just selling you a product. It's something deeper. But how do they actually do it? Okay, think about this description for a second. Now, if you're like most people, your mind probably jumps to someone like John F. Kennedy. But here's the twist. This description also perfectly fits Adolf Hitler. Yeah, it's a jarring comparison, and that's exactly the point. See, we make assumptions based on what we see on the outside. But Sinek argues that if we want to understand what truly inspires people, we have to look past the surface. We have to look at the common and, frankly, the deeply flawed ways most people try to get us to do things. According to Sinek, it really boils down to just two ways to influence behavior. You can manipulate people, or you can inspire them. And the difference between the two is absolutely massive. Let's break it down. Manipulations are literally everywhere we look. Think about it. Price drops to get a quick sale. Buy one, get one free promotions. Using fear to make you feel like you're missing out. And hey, these tactics work. But, and this is a big but, they only work for a single transaction. They might get you to buy something once, but they will never, ever earn your loyalty.
Okay, so if all those tricks are just a short-term game, what's the alternative? How do you build something that actually lasts? Well, the most inspiring leaders and organizations, they don't play that game. They follow a simple, naturally occurring pattern, a framework Sinek calls the golden circle.
So the idea is actually pretty simple. Imagine three concentric circles. The outer ring of the circle is the what. This is the most obvious thing. It's the products a company sells or the services it offers. Every single company knows this.
Now, if we move one layer in, we get to the how. This is how a company does what it does. You might call it their secret sauce or their unique selling proposition. It's how they explain that they're different or better than the competition. Some companies know this.
But here, right here at the very core of the circle, is the why. And this is the game changer. The why is not about making money. That's just a result. The why is the purpose, the cause, the belief. It's the fundamental reason the organization exists, and very, very few companies can clearly articulate it. Now this is where it all comes together. The direction you communicate in matters. Most companies talk from the outside in. They tell you what they do and maybe how they do it. But the inspiring leaders, they do the complete opposite. They flip the entire model on its head and communicate from the inside out. They start with why.
And get this, there's a genuine biological reason this is so incredibly powerful. When you talk about your what, you're speaking to the neocortex, the part of our brain that handles rational thought and language. But when you talk about your why and your how, you're talking directly to the limbic brain. That's our gut feeling. That's where trust, loyalty, and all human decision-making comes from. You're literally talking to the decision-maker.
This brings us to the core principle of this entire idea. Sinek's most famous quote, "People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it." We might use the facts and features of the what to rationalize our choices, but our decisions come from a feeling, a connection to the why. So how do you actually put this into practice? Well, Sinek says it takes three things in perfect balance. First, you need absolute clarity of your why. You have to know it. Second, you need the discipline of how, living your values and principles. And third, you need the consistency of what, making sure everything you say and do proves what you believe. And often this isn't one person. It's a partnership between a visionary why type and a practical how type who builds the systems to make it real. Sinek has this brilliant little filter to check for consistency. He calls it the Celery Test. Imagine your why is to live a healthy lifestyle. When you go to the grocery store, it's easy, right? You buy celery, apples, things like that. Now, what if someone gives you great advice to buy M&Ms because they're on sale? Well, that fails the test. Your actions have to align with your why. But here is the dangerous part. With growth and success comes a huge challenge, something Sinek calls the split. This is where the original passionate why starts to get fuzzy. The organization stops focusing on the cause and starts chasing achievements, the what's, like profit and metrics. And in doing so, they lose that feeling of success, that special something that got them started in the first place. And, this whole framework, it doesn't just apply to famous companies or historical figures. It applies to every single one of us, in our careers and in our lives. So the question to leave you with is this: what's your why?